one. This is going to be a lot of fun. We have got lots to talk about, lots to go through. And obviously a lot of excitement around UFC 272. The main event, of course, Colby Covington against Jorge Masvidal. That is a grudge match. There's no titles on the line here. So there's no title involved in the main event. There's no titles anywhere on this card. And as we said, we've got a lot to go through because it focuses on this main event. It focuses on the grudge match. It focuses on the fact these two know each other so well. They've lived together, trained together. They've spent, just countless hours in each other's company. And of course, that relationship has gone sour. And, this is a grudge match. It's a really interesting main event because normally it is for a title. It's not often that we get a bona fide, genuine grudge match as the kind of selling point for a pay-per-view. There's lots on the card, but there's not really anything massive that's on the card. Like, all of the promotion is on this main event. The main event is going to have to do the selling of this show. That's why I'm expecting a big press conference today. It's not often that we do the press conferences, actually. We would do it if it was Conor. We would do it if it was maybe someone like Israel Adesanya, but we don't tend to do it the majority of the time. The reason being is because there's just not really anything of interest that tends to get said. You get the odd question, and you might get the odd little sound bite, but by and large, there's not really anything that is worth checking out. Like, quick little YouTube video that will just give you the highlights, that would do. But with this, I am expecting fireworks. For those of you that don't know, Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal, they are two of the best talkers in UFC. They are not shy about trash talking. Not only that, they genuinely hate each other. They've obviously know a lot about each other as well, so this can get real personal. This isn't going to just be insults where just playground insults. They can really go in at each other. And actually, Colby has been talking quite a bit about Masvidal's ex-wife, talking about Masvidal's kids. I just was watching some interviews with Michael Bisping, and Masvidal was saying there's not going to be any handshakes after this fight. Don't think that we're saying this and then afterwards you're going to see us hugging and handshaking. I hate him. If we were on a desert island, we would be fighting. If it was just me and him alone, we would still be fighting. I've got no time for him whatsoever. This is, personal. I hope that's true. It's going to be a bit disappointing if after they fight, they do then hug and shake hands. You'd be like, God damn. They've proper just done it to build up the fight. And there's a few people out there, considerable amount actually, that think that this is a work. It's not real. They don't really hate each other. They're just doing it to make money. They're just doing it to sell the fight. But, I'd say they're doing a pretty good job of getting the message out there that this is genuine. And I think that message is only going to be louder following this press conference. So this press conference has got real potential for fireworks. Real potential for fireworks. True Killer says, really have liked the build-up for this fight. I can't wait now. Was Amari injured, Jaden? I don't know why we keep talking about this. I don't know why we're on this subject. I feel like if you want to find out some more about Amari, then turn to Google, because I looked and she had a concussion, and that's it. So that's all. She might be out for a little bit. We spoke about this yesterday. I don't have any further updates on her. Just in case anyone else didn't know, Vince is going to induct Undertaker, says Austin. Wrestle with Andy, shout out to you. Zachary says, get well soon, Miss Clown. Is Miss Clown ill? Shout out to you. Really excited for this press conference. Going into press conferences, you always hope there's going to be some really interesting sound bites, or there's going to be something juicy said. And, I got to admit, the past few that we've had have been a bit disappointing. I suppose Moicano and Figgy was probably the last one I saw. I mean, it was just a bit play school, a bit playground. It was all a bit petty. This one, as we said, could get personal, could get interesting. And I mean, look, if you look at Conor and you look at how Conor has really built up his career has been built on trash talking. Obviously, he's been able to back it up and, give some incredible performances. But, a large part of it, is who the F is that guy kind of a thing, and the walk. And his whole personality is played a massive part in Conor being undeniably the biggest draw that UFC has ever had. And I suppose that's why I'm excited for this press conference, because I'm really hoping that this delivers, gets people's attention, really generates a buzz for this weekend, because I feel like the rest of this card ain't going to do it. The rest of this card isn't going to generate the buzz. There is some really good fights on the card, though. If you have a look at Kevin Holland, he's taken on Alex Oliveira. That's really cool. I'm really into that fight. I also like the fact that we've got Nurmagomedov. The one thing I would say about this, though, and people are going to be upset about this, but should Nurmagomedov be fighting? Because he's a Russian fighter, and at the moment there's a big move towards, there's no Russian Formula One race in the calendar. That's been cut. The Russian football teams have been kicked out of European competitions. The Russian national team is not going to be competing at the World Cup. A lot of teams have said they're just not going to play Russia, full stop. The Russian Para-Olympians have been removed from the Para-Olympics, which is a massive move. That is a massive move to take out Para-Olympians from the Paralympics. I mean, these are people that have spent 4 years dedicating their life to training for the Paralympics. To now be removed is it's huge. It's huge. I mean, to be perfectly truthful, I don't even know if it's the right move, right? It's a big move, and I feel sorry for these people, because 4 years of their life, 4 years dedicated with going to bed and getting up early, and the payoff is I'll get to go to the Olympics, and now that has been taken away. And I don't know, man. I mean, I am one of the first to say, we need to be sending a message out that this is not acceptable to Russia. That's a big play. So with that in mind, is it right that Nurmagomedov is going to be fighting this weekend? I certainly don't think it's right that Volkov's going to be main event in UFC London. I really don't think that's right. Because I tell you now, what if he wins? First of all, what if he wins? I mean, a Russian competing in the main event in London on March 19th. What if he wins? If he wins and celebrates, legit, there could actually be a riot. I'm not even joking. Can you imagine if he wins and celebrates and there's a Russian flag and all of this? Tensions are high right now, and who knows where they'll be by the time we get to the 19th. So I don't see how that can go ahead. I am stunned that Britain's even allowing him in. Apparently, he's got a visa. I was reading earlier, his visa's sorted, but I wouldn't be surprised if they turn around and don't grant him that, or retract that visa and take it away. So, these are some really interesting things to kind of throw around as a conversation, because some people will be like, nah, they should fight. They've got nothing to do with this conflict, and I could understand that. But you need to know that other sports are not taking that approach. Other sports are taking people out of the Paralympics. They're taking teams out of FIFA. There's things that are going on in the world at the moment. It's worth mentioning as well, Marina Moroz, who is Ukrainian, is going to be fighting as well. And, she's been very, very vocal in the build-up about the Ukraine and everything. I mean, that has got to have been a big, big distraction for her. And she's taken on Maria Agapova. So that fight in particular has got a little bit maybe extra kind of interest, if you will, to see, like, you know, I think a lot of people are going to be with Marina and hoping that she can get the win. And, you know, she's obviously going to come down with the Ukrainian flag, and it's going to be really interesting to see how she performs, because she obviously is, as a lot of people are at the moment, going through a very, very difficult time. Very difficult time. What will happen to Dragunov? Isn't he Russian? Will he be released or stripped of the belt? I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. I don't know where we are at the moment. Why would you ban a Russian from entering? Are you nuts? Yeah. I mean, like, high-profile Russians, I mean, they are being banned. Like, this isn't me just saying, shall we do it? This is what's happening. Visas are being taken away. Russians are being taken out of the Paralympics. That's not me saying, shall we do it? These are things that are happening because these are what are called consequences of Russia's actions. So, as a result, the world does not want Russian athletes being allowed to compete in, like, sports, and, you know, we just pretend everything's normal. So it's got nothing to do with Russian citizens. I've said numerous times that we don't blame, like, Russian people are not responsible for this. It's down to Putin, but equally there has to be consequences of Putin's actions, and one of those consequences is that sport has decided to take Russian athletes out of different competitions and out of various different things. So, you know, we're seeing them, as we said, out of FIFA. I think, did I hear they're out ice hockey? I think they're removed out of FIFA the game as well. They've been took out of FIFA the game. You can't even play as Russian teams in FIFA the game, let alone in real life. WWE have just shut down their WWE network over there. So Russians will not be able to watch WrestleMania. And like, they can't get access to the WWE network. And, yeah, I mean, it's just like bang, 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 bang. There's loads of different things that are happening in regards to Russian athletes. And this is all as a consequence of Putin. And I think part of it as well is so the, you know, the Russian people kind of backlash against Putin. And kind of, you know, there's an upswelling from inside Russia where, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, clearly the world is sending a statement that this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. What you're doing is not acceptable. And the world is making a statement about that. And if it means that Russian athletes have to suffer as a result, well, that's clearly what the world is deciding at the moment. As I said, God, it's harsh with the Paralympians. 4 years they've, you know, trained to go to the Paralympics. That is a decision that has been made. But that is correct about no Russian teams in FIFA. M. Baxter says it doesn't make it right. Everyone's going to have their own opinion on it, and my opinion is this is a war. I mean, this is a war, and as a result, you know, Russian athletes, and I mean, no planes now, no Russian planes being allowed into America. I don't think there's Russian flights allowed into the UK. You know, is that right? You can debate it. I ain't got a problem with it. I think that what you want to do is create problems for Russian people, to be honest, so that there's a backlash and they kick back against their government. Their currency has crashed through the floor. There's assets that are being taken away from the rich Russian people. I mean, this obviously isn't the conversation that we need to be having during this UFC 272 press conference. But it's an important conversation, and it does have repercussions for the UFC, because this started because we were saying, should we allow Nurmagomedov to compete this weekend? Should Volkov be in? Volkov, 1,000% in my opinion, should not be in the main event of that. I think that is completely wrong, and it's in London as well. I mean, honestly, there could be a riot. There could be a riot if you look at the scenes. Today, look at the football today. I don't know if you saw Everton against Boreham Woods, but both teams came out with Ukrainian flags. there's a lot of emotion going around at the moment. There's a lot of emotion. It might not even be safe for certain Russian people at the moment. We can say, and we do say, that there should be no persecution of Russian citizens, because it's all their leader. It's not them. It's their leader that's making these decisions. It's not Russian people. So I am certainly not one saying, let's be crystal on this, I am certainly not saying that there should be any kind of violence brought against Russian people. 1,000% not. 1,000% not, right? But that's still not going to stop it from happening. There's still a lot of emotion out there. There's still going to be communities where there's going to be Ukrainians mixing with Russians in various countries around the world. Like, you don't want to ignite that. You don't want to bring like any more drama to that. So I really don't think Volkov should be in that main event. Jared says, love reactions, keep up the good work. Jared, shout out to you, buddy. Appreciate the kind words. Hope you are well. Hope you're looking forward to this press conference. I actually don't know who's in this press conference, I don't know if it's just Colby and Jorge Masvidal, or if we do have like some of the other fighters on stage. To be honest, the co-main has changed. Obviously, it was meant to be Khabib, but Khabib has had to drop out. I think he got COVID, so obviously wish him all the best. And Moicano has stepped in. So we've got Dos Santos and Moicano. That is our co-main. That was meant to be the main event of a fight night a few weeks ago. It'll be a fun fight. I've probably got RDA winning it. But it's not really like a co-main of a pay-per-view fight, in my opinion. Sits really well on a main card of a pay-per-view. We're probably missing like a really juicy co-main. That's probably what this is missing, to be honest. But it's, as we said, it's one of those where it's the main event that's doing the hard work. Dortnight said, my personal opinion is that the Russians won't fight in London. It's a very interesting conversation. Very interesting. NATO countries have invaded more countries, killed more people than Russians. Why not ban Britons, Canadians, etc.? Because that's not the conflict right now, is it? So the conflict right now is Russia illegally going into the Ukraine and killing people in the Ukraine. Like, that's happening right now as we're speaking. So rather than going, well, this has happened and that's happened, and throwing up like the whole world history, right? How about we don't do that? How about we focus on what's happening right now? And what's happening right now is that Russia has illegally gone into the Ukraine. And as a result, that's why we would not be banning Brits and Canadians. So I hope that answers your question. David Smith says, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. I'm looking forward to this. We don't often do these press conferences. And as we said, looking forward to what hopefully is going to be a juicy press conference full of fireworks. And who knows, might get a little bit personal. So we'll see what they bring to the table. I want to ring Putin's doorbell and run, says Ernest on purpose. True Killer says, how well do you think this pay-per-view will sell? How well do I think the pay-per-view will sell? I reckon around about the... I must admit, my projections are going up the closer that we're getting to it. So I'm at around about 300,000, 400,000 mark. I don't think this is going to be one of the all-time big, great pay-per-views. Conor was like really one of the only people that could get up to like the million mark. If you actually look at like the breakdown of like all the various different pay-per-views, the majority tend to be in the hundreds of thousands. So I can't really see any reason. I think the main event of this one in particular is having to do a lot of heavy lifting here. It's having to do a lot of heavy lifting. So I just don't think there's really anything to back it up. Like, if you're not really that bothered by Covington and Masvidal, Both of them coming off losses to Usman as well. So maybe their star power has just took a bit of a knock. So if you're not really like crazy about them and their momentum's took a bit of a knock at the moment, you might skip this card. I think there's some great stuff on here. As I said, I think the main event is really interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing Marina Rodriguez, who I've got a lot of time for. I want to see what Kevin Holland can do because he needs to get back on track as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Obviously, Marina Moroz from the Ukraine. That's going to be very emotional and emotionally charged. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Nurmagomedov, I keep saying there's nothing personal here towards Nurmagomedov. Like, if he fights, then he fights and we'll watch it. If he doesn't, then I would support that decision as well. But, he is someone that is a great prospect, a top prospect. So he is currently on the card as well. And at this late stage, I can't really see them taking him off. So looks like he'll be in action. So there's a lot on the cards, but it just lacks the big, wow, I need to see that. It lacks a little bit of that. So I reckon around the 350,000 is kind of where I am at the moment. 350. Which, what would that put it in line with, actually? We looked at this the other day. To see top performing. I think that's what I want to go for. Top performing UFC cards. Let's see what that breaks down as. Best UFC cards of all time. Is this the one? Oh, no, that's not ranking it by buys. Buys. Let's do that one. Top UFC cards by buys. We had a little look at this before, and, I mean, this is the top 10. So number 10 was Nunes Rousey. That did 1.1. Rousey and Home did 1.1 as well. So Rousey was a great draw. Lesnar Carwin was 1.1. Tate and Nunes was 1.2. That's kind of a surprise. Then you've got Alvarez McGregor 1.3. Aldo McGregor 1.4. McGregor Diaz 1.5. Lesnar Mir 2 was 1.6. Diaz McGregor 2 was 1.6. And of course the number 1 out and out on its own 2.4. I mean, not even close. Khabib versus Conor McGregor out on its absolute own. So, yeah, I've got this probably being a much lower than that. Much lower. I've got this being probably down in like the 350 mark, but we'll see. Matt Carney says, alt reality WWE mid-carder Zach Wallace. Matt Carney, shout out to you. History will prove that you know how to read the tea leaves. First the Super Bowl and now a UFC press conference. Super progressive. True Killer said, I agree. The rest of the card is good, but I agree it needed another juicy fight. With the main only being the only main selling. Yeah, I think, again, I'm not down on the card. I mean, we watch the fight nights every week and love them. Have such fun with watching the fight nights. So I really do enjoy watching UFC each week. And so it doesn't really matter to me what's on, to be honest, because even UFC debuts are ones that I really enjoy watching. So this has obviously got a lot more than that. So for me, this is still a big event, and I'm still really excited. And I love that main event. I genuinely love that main event. But yeah, I just think for like the casuals, it would be good if there was something a little bit more. Matt says, an alt-reality tag team, Pearls of Wisdom. David said, have you seen AEW before? I have. Watch it every Wednesday. Edward says, Reed, I'm not staying. I need to be up tomorrow. You're one of my favourite YouTubers. Edwards, appreciate it. Have a good evening. James said, considering he does AEW watch-alongs, I think he does watch it. David said, I'm looking forward to the SmackDown tomorrow. Dort Knight said, instead of focusing on countless other things, let's focus on the fact that innocent people are being attacked. Yep. I mean, I must admit, it's not a subject that I'm looking to stay on for the longest time. This is, a UFC press conference stream. I ain't afraid of going into a conversation about Ukraine and Russia and, making my feelings on that known, because I'm absolutely appalled by it, as I know countless others are as well. So, it's if it does connect with UFC, like the conversation around Volkov and the conversation around Nurmagomedov, then as you said, I'm not worried about having that conversation. Why would you ever be worried about talking about something when there's people out there that are losing their lives at the moment? So awful. Right, 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go, less than actually. These press conferences tend to be around about half an hour-ish. I mean, as we said, a lot of tasty questions, a lot of tasty answers. I think this will be one of those press conferences that definitely gets viewed probably a little bit more than a normal press conference. I think people know that these two can talk. And don't forget, Masvidal had an incredible 2019. That carried over to 2020. He was on the front of UFC 4, the video game. He really kind of managed to break through. I think Colby Covington broke through as well, because he's the guy, if you don't know, that's like, Mr. Make America Great Again, is Donald Trump's favorite fighter. I'm not looking to leave the Russia conversation and go into a Trump conversation. That we can leave that where it is. But he's that guy. If you're not familiar with him, he is the Make America Great Again Donald Trump supporter. Wears that as a badge of honor, and some people love him for it. Some people obviously don't. So yeah, he's that guy. I don't know that. I don't know if that is part of the reason why he kind of fell out with Masvidal. I know it was over the coach situation, but I don't know, because he did change Colby. He's admitted that he was kind of keeping all of that stuff like on the lowdown a little bit. He didn't want to fall out with his gym. But he was just kind of like, F it, and, just wore it as a badge of honor, and really, kind of turned it all up to 11. And there could have been some of that kind of upset a few people as well. David said, are you happy Finn Balor is the new US champion? Am I happy that he's the new US champion? Sure. I mean, yeah, I like Finn Balor. Like Damian Priest, I think you could have done something with. They were doing something. They were doing the Damian and Priest kind of, split personality thing, but wasn't really grabbing me. So, yeah, put it on Finn, see what we can do with him. So, I'm cool with that. Days, what's next for the winner of the second place medal for Masvidal Covington? What would be next for them? It's a really good question. Apparently, Colby has said next for him, he wants Dustin Poirier, which is really interesting because Poirier's in a different weight class. So Colby wants Dustin Poirier. I wonder if Colby would be interested in... I don't even know if Colby could get to the lightweight, but I wonder if he would be interested in, like, potentially looking at a different division, because he's fought Usman twice now, and twice he's lost. And whilst Usman's in this division, I'm not sure I can see Colby. He might get a third fight, but I'm not that confident that he would beat Usman, to be honest. I think they fought twice and Usman's won twice. So I wonder if Colby's thinking of a different division, because he is, for me, the second best fighter in this division. He is the second best fighter, so in the welterweight division. So I've got Colby winning. I've got Colby beating Masvidal. And then it will be very, very interesting to see what he does next. Masvidal is ranked 6th at the moment, so there's fights that he could have in the welterweight division. I think if he wins this, there's fights there for him. And I think Masvidal, I think he would like to be a champion. Of course he would. But I think Masvidal just loves fighting. He loves to earn money. He loves fighting. He loves being in main events. And I don't think he'll be moving divisions and looking for title fights and all this kind of stuff. I think you can always find fights for Masvidal. Colby, though, I've got a feeling that he is so close to being a champion. If Usman wasn't around, Colby would be the champion in this division. So I wonder if he's going to look to move. I wonder, there's lots of talk of Colby going after Poirier, which I'm down for seeing. Poirier said he'll never fight him. He said he'll only fight him in the street and then go to jail. He doesn't want to give him any money. I wonder if, though, I mean, I haven't heard as to why he called out Poirier, but Masvidal said it's because of Poirier's profile. So I don't know. I wonder if Colby's doing it because Poirier's a big star, or is it because he's looking to go to a different division? Which, if he was going to do that, wouldn't he just call out Charles Oliveira? Wouldn't he just call out the champ? But again, I don't know. I just don't know if he could go to that lightweight or what his intentions are. It'll be a that might be a question that comes up here. So we'll find out. Masvidal said that UFC becomes more popular. It's attracting fighters that want fame, bracket sponsorship deals, as opposed to glory, trophies. Yeah, I don't know quite what he is going to fight for, because he has also fought Usman twice and lost. And I would say that Masvidal lost more convincing. I mean, he got knocked spark out second time. There's no argument for Masvidal to get another fight. There's no clamour for Masvidal, Usman again. And whilst Usman's around, I just don't know what you do with Masvidal. So the only thing is, he's sixth in the division. He's not even second or third or fourth. So there's other fights that you can get for Masvidal. But yeah, I heard him say that. I heard him talking about how there's people coming in for the wrong reasons now. But listen, if you come in for the wrong reasons, the one thing I love about UFC is it's real simple, isn't it? If you're in this sport for the wrong reasons, you're going to get found out. Unless you're in for the wrong reasons and putting a hell of a lot of work in. This is the cream rises to the top. It has to. Because if you're not one of the best mixed martial artists in the world, you ain't getting to the top. Do you know what I mean? So I do love this sport for that. I do absolutely love this sport for that. I mean, in any other kind of form of entertainment, CM Punk would have got a hell of a lot further than he did. CM Punk tried in UFC, got dealt with twice, and that was it. Which, is the way that it probably should have gone, because he put the work in, and he put years of work in, but it just shows, you can't just do that. You can't just put a couple of years of work in and expect to get, amongst the best. And, I mean, I love that, because for me, it makes these competitors just gods. Do you know what I mean? It just makes them, these highly trained, some of the greatest athletes in the world. So I got nothing but the utmost respect for UFC fighters, MMA fighters, and I think the sport does a great job of protecting and building these fighters. And it does a great job of giving us the kind of fights that we want to see as well. And this is absolutely one of them. This is absolutely one of them. This is a bit of a dream match in a way. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Sometimes I guess you can be entertaining and not finish first or second. I guess in team sport you could argue a lot of football teams make up a number, but I still want to see them. Street Jesus goes out in 2. Is this channel showing the actual press conference? No, that's over on the UFC channel. We're going to be reacting to it as it happens live. and talking about the answers, seeing, kind of thrown around what gets said, seeing if we can get any little reads, seeing if, people's opinions change. Maybe you're going with Colby, but who knows? Maybe Masvidal comes out with some real interesting stuff here. And maybe after this, it changes a few people's minds. So it'll be very interesting to see what gets said and how this plays out. And we are just waiting for it to start. It was meant to start 4 minutes ago. These things obviously always a little bit delayed. But we are going to be over to it once it does start. David said, I got respect for all sports. Luke said, Masvidal leaving in a body bag. California Love said, looking forward to the commentary this Saturday. 2 more sleeps. It's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting. There's something real special when you've got like a big UFC event. There is something really, really special. Like it really sets up the week. I think it's because you get a load of interviews and you get press conferences. And when it's a fight night, you don't get that. And you get the weigh-ins and there's just a bit of a buzz. There seems to be more news that comes out as well during the week of like a UFC pay-per-view. And it's good, man. It's really good. So I'm looking forward to it as I'm sure you lot are as well. And, we haven't even spoke about it, but hopefully people out there can make a bit of money. Hopefully people out there can, get some good parlays on the go. There's a few interesting bets that are out there. I heard, was it Corey Safdie, who I've got a lot of respect for. I think he was saying Kevin Holland by submission is something he's looking at. And the odds on that were quite juicy. So that was one that looks quite interesting. It's an outside bet. I mean, I don't know what the odds are on Kevin Holland by submission. But you see, the thing is, Kevin Holland has not looked great when he goes down to the ground that much. He's got some jiu-jitsu to him, but we've seen him getting controlled down on the ground. So the idea of him winning by submission would give you quite wide odds. That's unlikely in the bookie's eyes. But the point that Cody was making was, which I thought was really good, was his wrestling is improving. And actually, last time out that he was in the octagon, he was trash talking as he always does. And he was saying like, oh, what's this? Kevin Holland can wrestle now, can he? As he was like, grappling away, wrestling away, and, kind of trash talking, which is what he does. But you can see that he is improving. I mean, he's, 29 years old, and he's got great striking, but there's definitely areas he needs to improve, and one of the biggest ones was his wrestling. But that is coming on. That we are seeing improvements there. He is putting the work in. So I'm looking forward to seeing him against Alex Oliveira. And I thought that Kevin Holland by submission prop was quite interesting as well. To be completely transparent, I don't put money on it because every time I do, it doesn't work. Every time I do take a chance like that, it doesn't pay off. And normally, if I don't put any money on it, it tends to come off. I mean, that's sod's law in it. So feel like that was on the Dog and Pass podcast, and I really like those guys. So check that out if you want to see it from the horse's mouth. Then he was talking about it on there. I'm hoping a lack of wrestling technique Colby has shown throughout time plays a factor in this fight, says Brendan. Castle says UFC is trash. Ben said, I'm so ready for Burns versus Chimaev. Madman said, is it cancelled? No, I don't believe so. I don't know why they would cancel it. If they are going to cancel it, I'm pretty sure they would pull down the little live thing they've got up. It's still up right now on YouTube. There's actually 46,000 people waiting to watch it over on the UFC account. So, as I said, you do tend to get, like, delays. So, it's pretty normal stuff. We should get Joe Rogan back for this as well, because obviously last time we had the big UFC pay-per-view, there was all that controversy around Joe Rogan, and that's sort of blown over-ish. I mean, like, obviously the Ukraine thing has really dominated headlines, and rightfully so. So I think Joe Rogan should be back as well. A nuclear power plant in the Ukraine is on fire. Oh, well, that's good news. That's excellent. I mean, there's clearly not going to be anything bad that comes of that. Would you be in breach of copyright if Football Days was called UFC, the Ultimate Football Channel? I believe I would, yeah. Legend Killer, hello. Days said Conor would beat Poirier. Don't bet with his advice, says Holloway fan 808. Did I? I genuinely, I'm not just saying that, I genuinely can't remember. But I've definitely said fighters would win that haven't. I mean, definitely. I mean, if I was, and, you know, it's worth, I mean, this goes for everyone. If you was able to predict 100% of the fights, then none of us would be on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I could add the ability to get 100% of the fights correct, I would not be sat here right now. I would be in the Bahamas, right, with like a coconut and, like, you know, a straw and some girl fanning me away, yeah, on a beach somewhere. I wouldn't be sat here waiting for the UFC to start a press conference that's 10 minutes late already. So, yeah, I'm the first to say that. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was an interesting, potentially worth a little sprinkle, because his wrestling is getting better, Kevin Hollands. Shola said, I think Saturday will be Colby night, and that might trigger some people. Hashtag Colby Broken Jaw 2, said Erase Your Minds. Hamzat Chimaev, do you think he'll be the next Khabib? I think it's hard to say the next Khabib, because that is such a high bar. I mean, you're talking about potentially the GOAT. I think Chimaev has got it in him to be a champion. And I think Chimaev has got it in him to certainly beat a considerable amount of, his division. But can he go on to be a Khabib that, I mean, is just breaking records and taking on the top names and beating them all and putting like a historic run together? I mean, Khabib beat Poirier, Gaethje, McGregor. I mean, those three fights really are the cherry on top, if you will. Obviously, he did a lot of work in the build and beat some good names, but those three fights are the three fights that really made him. And I suppose in a way it was a shame he just couldn't carry on just a little bit longer. I think people would love now to see Charles Oliveira against Khabib. Charles Oliveira against Khabib, because Oliveira won the title and then managed to retain the title against Poirier. So Oliveira now has absolutely cemented himself as the guy. Like, there's no doubt he is the best in that division. He beat Poirier. So he's got a fight coming up against Gaethje. That's going to be interesting. The Oliveira-Gaethje fight's going to be interesting. If Oliveira wins that, there is absolutely a fight for Khabib to return to. Like, if Khabib was to come back, him against Charles Oliveira would be phenomenal. I don't know. I don't know that it would beat the Conor record, to be honest, because, again, you know, there's a lot of trash talking and throwing the trolley at the side of the bus. I mean, all of that made that pay-per-view. It made that pay-per-view. Conor throwing the trolley at the side of the bus and everything, and, like, you wouldn't have that. And so I don't know that it would beat the all-time record, but I think it would get into the million plus easy. Could even be 1.6, 1.7. Might go on to be the second biggest UFC pay-per-view. I'm really not sure, but yeah, he is absolutely cemented. But Chimaev, I think, can go on to be a champion, and I think he can go on to defend that title. But go on to be the next Khabib. That's a big ask. We're on the verge of Russia taking over or exploding a large nuclear plant in the Ukraine. It could be the start of World War III, says Charlie. We don't want the political stuff, says Brandon. I think Khabib would beat him, to be honest, says Shola. These things take like 20 minutes to start, says Tim. I really don't think Khabib is coming back, says Bruno. Well, to be honest, but neither did I. But I did read that he was... There is talk. I mean, I know there's always talk, but I'm sure I saw something to do with Khabib get mentioned the other day. Let me have a look. UFC Khabib. Khabib thinks Makhachev will get a title shot very soon. Cain Velasquez. What would make Khabib return? Khabib reacts on a grappling match against George St. Pierre. Khabib laughs off weight gain as he is enjoying UFC retirement. Khabib tells Islam. Who's coming to Toronto to host an event. Had no idea how much money he was earning. Oh, I can't find it. There was a story I read. It might have been... Oh, here we go. 2 days ago. There, that was it. That was it. I mean, it's in The Sun, which is one of our like big newspapers. Islam Makhachev hints that Coach Khabib will make sensational UFC comeback, but would step up in weight division. That was on March the 1st. So that was on March 1st. Islam Makhachev has tipped his mentor to make a sensational return, but up in weight. Khabib hung his gloves in Octagon after beating Gaethje, which came 3 months after the death of his dad. Nurmagomedov, father's influential figure, blah, 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 blah. Oh, hello, here we go. Yeah, I read that. I mean, look, it's all just rumor and whatever. I mean, it's all, you know, it could potentially be a load of nonsense, but I did see that the other day. But yeah, I agree. Very unlikely. Did you see what Colby said about Conor and Poirier's wife yesterday? No, I can't say I have. I've seen his comments about Masvidal's ex, but I can't say I've seen anything about Conor and Poirier. What does Khabib need to come back for? I don't understand. His legacy is cemented. Well, he doesn't. He doesn't. It'd be interesting to see if an offer was made, though. Like, would Khabib do it if there was a crazy amount of money on the table? If UFC were to put 100 million on the table, would he come back? I really don't know. We've just got a little video package at the moment. Chalmers said Khabib McGregor 2 would be jokes, and I'm here for it. Nate Diaz has one fight left on his contract. He's been saying that he wants that to be his last fight. He wants to retire, but we still need that game bred rematch and that McGregor trilogy. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I need to see him against Game Bread again. The McGregor trilogy. I mean, McGregor's been struggling, but he has been facing like the best in the division. I think I'd still take McGregor over Nate Diaz. I think, to be honest, time is running out. And we probably have only got like 1 or 2 fights left, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. I heard Colby Masvidal did 1.5 buy rate and the 10th biggest UFC gates. What do you mean? That's this weekend. Right, here is Dana White. We're in Las Vegas. Let's have a look and see what gets. Let's have a look and see what gets said. I might actually put in these headphones so I can hear it a little bit better. The only problem when I put headphones in is it does make me shout. There we go, that's better. Okay, let's have a look and see what they're wearing as well. That's going to be interesting. Subdued? I was expecting him to wear something a bit more than that. He's got a gold briefcase as well. So he's come out with a gold briefcase. He's just wearing jeans and a black top. I really expected more from Masvidal there. I'm expecting something quite bright and big from Colby. Let's have a look, see what he's coming out in. They're just giving him a big build at the moment. Here we go. White suit, pink shirt. He's got a necklace that says chaos. That's better. That's what you expect. That's what you expect. Here's Colby. Maybe I was expecting some stars and stripes in there, but... Okay, so they're already saying a few words to each other. Masvidal already trying to say a few words at Colby. He says, stop acting tough. Yeah, there is a little conversation going on. Masvidal already telling him to shut the F up. I remember you used to tell me you got mad when you were scared. It's okay to be scared, bro, says Colby. David, shout out to you. Ronnie, hello. Tell you what, there is a lot of security on stage. There's a lot of security on the background. So they asked the question, what vibe are you getting from... What vibe are you getting from Colby? Masvidal just keeps saying, shut the F up. They're kind of talking over each other at the moment. This guy is illiterate as F, says Colby. What's inside the case? What is it? I don't even know what he's got. Is it an NFT thing? Is it an NFT? I want to know who Rogan is supporting, says Chalmers. What is it? It's a Colby Covington signed card. What's he doing? He's turned into like Del Boy or something. Inside that little gold case, there's a TV and a little remote control. I'm guessing you buy a moment. You buy like an NFT moment, do you? And it just plays on that screen. Is that what that is? Okay, they're talking now about who lived in whose houses, and Colby's getting fired up, man. Have you still got your Obama phone? Oh, they both stand. We've had to get a couple of guys over. Oh, Masvidal picks up a can of Monster. It's going to be empty, and he goes to throw it. Dana's like, "Oh my god." You got that mad herpes feel. Wow. The inside of the briefcase. Yeah, it's got like a little TV in there, hasn't it? There's a lot of talking over each other here. A lot of talking over each other. A lot of bad language. They're the only ones on the stage, by the way. It's a video of him burning the card. I don't get it. I don't understand. Is that what you can buy? You can buy the image of him burning the card, and you can buy the burnt card. Masvidal said, what do the 2 pay-per-views that Colby was on add up to? This is so childish. This is like high school, says Tim. It is. It really is. I don't know why I was expecting some, like, zingers. It's just a lot of talking over each other. There's people in the chat going, what is happening? I'm going to send him back to the casinos. I'm going to knock him out. Colby said, are you still friends with Dustin, or have you backstabbed him as well? I don't think we're going to get any, like, proper answers here, are we? Colby said, this is going to be easy work on Saturday night. It's going to be a walk in the park. I'm going to walk you like a dog, says Colby. Colby said this is a title fight. Is he going to talk about the BMF? Dana said this is a big fight. People care. Make him put the BMF on the line, says Colby. Masvidal says, look at that cheap suit that you're wearing. Erasure Mind said, this is hilarious. They're creating their own questions. They are. You're dumb, ignorant, and broke, says Masvidal. Masvidal keeps going on about how he's not going to make any money. Jorge is scared to lose that BMF belt. Yeah, he never defends it, does he? It's been called out a couple of times. He never puts it up. Dana said, I don't know. I can't remember a match like this where these guys were teammates and roommates. They're asking now, will this need a rematch? Colby said no, it's going to be decisive. This guy can't even hold my wet jockstrap. LMA and neighborhoods. Jorge scared to lose that BMF bout. I'm watching this in the back of my mind, thinking Usman owns both of these guys, even trash talking too much. It is true. I mean, like, they have both gone up against Usman, and they've obviously not been victorious. What were the emotions when you saw each other is the question. Can you tell me how a bill becomes a law? Colby's asking, Jorge, can you tell me how a bill becomes a law? How many times have you been to the White House? Man, of all the things you expect to hear at a UFC press conference, can you tell me how a bill becomes a law is not one of them? Masvidal says, how much did that watch cost you? You've got no money. Don't forget about your kids, says Colby. He keeps talking about the kids as well. These two goons looking over Colby Masvidal. Yeah. We got, I think, is it 4 police officers standing in the background as well? They're not even listening. Even the guy's like, and they're not listening to a word I'm saying. The dude asking a question, and halfway through he goes, they're not listening to a word I'm saying. Is there any side of you that that misses the fact that you were like really close? And they're just talking all over each other. 2 friends who fell out arguing over what's out until one blocks the other. Josie said, this press conference sounds hilarious. It's pretty fun, actually. Volkov gets raised. Dana said, off the top of my head right now, I don't know where we're at with that. London's happening. So Volkov gets mentioned. How is there no King of Miami belt? Colby said because this guy lives in Coconut Creek. And Masvidal's like... I hope they answered your question. You gotta be a bad MF to fight for that belt. Colby said, this is going to be Jorge Masvidal's funeral. Masvidal said, I get paid on the pay-per-view. He doesn't. Okay. He says Brazil is a dump. They grabbed my American flag trying to burn it. Brazil's a dump. Man, if they do like Colby against a Brazilian fighter in Brazil. Whoo. This scumbag artist ripped off my coach. I love how people think the feud is real when both of these have appeared in pro wrestling with the same act, says Tim. The process of how a bill becomes a law isn't that interesting, says Dark Knight. Why didn't Masvidal talk like this in AEW? You live off Obama phone and food stamps, says Colby Covington. Show the paperwork on your PPP loan. All over each other, man. They are all over each other. That canvas could not be more coarse. She said, are you looking at different canvases? Because it's quite slippery on the decals. Wasn't expecting that question. Jorge said, this is just another fight for me. These guys hate each other with a passion, says Zachary. Even if it is fake stage, the reality is they're going to be smashing each other in the face. You can't fake that, says Dortnight. There should be an F-word meter. It'd be broken. If there was an F-word meter, it'd be broken. That does look a bit like Pena. The woman journalist finally made everything calm with the canvas question. She did, yeah? I think everyone was like, what? Has the ship sailed? Yeah, it has. How does Trump feel about this match? Is he going to call you? Tell everyone why Trump doesn't like you anymore. He doesn't like criminal thugs. Is Saturday night more personal business? Masvidal said, no, it's always just a job. He sat there with this gold case playing a video on loop, but it's a weird video. It's a video of him burning a card that I think you can then purchase, like a burnt Colby Covington card. It's a weird thing to have, like... that was a good question, actually. She said, if Colby says to you after the fight, this was just business, like, will you guys shake hands? Would you accept it? And Masvidal's like, he would never do that. The Trump simps. Strange man with yellow glasses. That's the schmo, isn't it? I think he hates these, doesn't he? What's Ariel Helwani? Hates these press conferences. He doesn't like the questions that get asked. Okay. How much pressure do you feel, Jorge, to deliver a win for American Top Team? We're not getting an answer. Instead, Colby's throwing allegations that Masvidal was on drugs. Man, they're talking all over each other again. Ariel was banned. He was, wasn't he? He had a big falling out with Dana. American Top Team. American Tap Team. Colby calls them. So apparently he forfeited the pay-per-view pay. I don't know why. Dana, you having fun? She's like, Dana, you having fun? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm having fun. How can they ban him if he's part of the media? Well, I mean, obviously the UFC can allow in whoever they want. If you think that one of these two won't do or try something today, you're out of your mind. That's why we've got everyone up here. And they have legit apparently been keeping them apart. So they don't run into each other. God, this is going to be good, man. I mean, questions being asked and they are trash talking each other. Look, right now, they are not listening to the question. They're talking directly to each other. I need UFC bringing in triple threats, and we could do kind of Jorge Colby press conferences. Colby not getting pay-per-view point. Nah, he's not picking up any extra pay. Apparently, he forfeited it. Yeah, he said he's going. Once he's done with Masvidal, he's going to go after Dustin in the crowd. What do you expect to see when you look in Colby's eyes? Someone weak trying to act hard. Is roughly what he said. Will things be resolved? Any details on a new contract? So Masvidal signed a new contract with UFC, and Masvidal said his kids are going to be all right for a long, long time. Wow. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming out today. All right. I mean, that was pretty... I must admit, a little disappointing in the sense of no real zingers, no real lines you can take away. I really like seeing them talking to each other, though, when questions are being asked. Like, the one where the guy was like, and they're not even listening to me. Like, I really like that because it really hammers home that they've got stuff to say each other. They don't like each other. You know, they had stuff to say, and they weren't really too bothered about the questions that people had. And I must admit, the questions people had, a lot of them sucked. which is kind of what Ariel Helwani has always like said, is that, you know, these press conferences have a lot of like amateurs that ask the questions, and it's just not the kind of hard-hitting journalism that you know, you would expect or would want to see. And I must admit, you do get a few weird questions at these press conferences. But that was a lot of just talking over each other. Was that underwhelming? Yeah, a little. I was hoping for some zingers. I kind of feel like Masvidal brought that briefcase out, and you're like, here we go. Is this going to be something from like when they were together? Is this going to be a bombshell? Is this going to be something that's going to really like get in the head of Colby? Because think of all the stuff they know about each other. And then it's a burnt trading card with a video playing of him burning it. It's like, well. All right, here we go. They're trying to do the face-off here. You got Dana in between them. You got the two guys in between them as well. Dana is desperately trying to make sure these two, they cannot even allow them to get that close. I mean, literally, Dana's got them like this far apart, and they walk away. I mean, we have seen it before. We have seen it where at the boxing quite recently with Canelo, where, you know, someone throws something. So you do have to be careful. But and that is the end. So yeah, I mean, I've got to admit, I think for me it was a bit flat. It was a bit disappointing. There was definitely potential for, I think, Masvidal. Masvidal didn't really do what I was hoping he would do. Masvidal, for some reason, seems to have turned it down. I don't know if he's made his money now and that's it. But Masvidal didn't really wear anything like that showy. He like brought that gold case. It was like an NFT kind of card thing. I don't really know what it was. It wasn't really very clear. And like it was just a lot of like talking over each other. So yeah, it definitely didn't quite hit as I wanted, but had a lovely energy to it. I will give it that. Lovely energy. You couldn't stop watching it because you didn't quite know, like, you know, what was going to happen or what someone was going to say. But yeah, a lot of bickering. Will Rogan be there? I believe he is. Yeah. What question would you have asked each fighter? I suppose. Really interesting. Like, I suppose you would. I feel like anything you ask is just going to get like a really quick dismissive answer. So you kind of have to really, really think. I think I'd probably ask, what was the one thing that you hated or wound you up about the other person when you knew each other? Because that gives them opportunity to really go back to the past, find something very personal, bring up a story from the past, talk about something that's annoying, a habit or something the other person did. It allows them. It's a good question because it's not really you're not looking really for an answer. What you're doing is you're allowing them the opportunity to like really go to some places. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be careful, because if you was to say, how are you going to beat them at Masvidal, how are you going to beat Covington this weekend? Like, the answer you're going to get is, I'm just going to smash him in the face. It'll be one and done. Do you know what I mean? It's just going to be like, I'm going to take him down and tap him out, right? Or you're just going to get something really generic. But if you ask a question where it's like, you two obviously knew each other and lived together and everything. What would you say, like, was the one thing that really annoyed you about the other person from that time? Like, that allows them to go to some really interesting places and maybe brings out some stories from the past. And even though, like, the answer you'd get wouldn't be like, you know, oh, he used to bite his nails or whatever. Like, that's not the answer you're looking for, and it's not the answer you would get. You would get then them giving you, like, some juicy stuff from the past, hopefully. And I think that is what people want. People want to know, like, they were good friends. Why are they not friends anymore? Is it just the coach thing? That might be something you could explore as well. You two fella, what is it that made you guys fall out? Like something along those lines. And then that opens it up to like a whole conversation as well. I think there was a lot of just like questions asked that were easily dismissed. A lot of stuff asked that could be like, yeah, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I think wasn't one of the questions like, how did you feel when you saw each other for the first time? It's like, well, they hate each other. What do you think? It wasn't sunshine and lollipops, was it? So I kind of feel like there was a lot of just easy questions that you could dismiss, to be honest. But there was still some lovely trash talking in there. Was it worth watching? For me, it was, because obviously it gives us... the things I take from it is where they are not even... I've never seen that before, where they're not even paying attention to the person asking the question. They're talking, right? And like quite a bit as well to each other. So that was very interesting to see. There was a few things that brought up. It's interesting about Colby and the allegations about the drugs and the drug use during fights that he's accusing Masvidal of. And in all fairness to Masvidal, he just sat there and was like... He didn't like deny it or anything. He was just like... So I did look at that and I was like, oh. And there was a few like personal bits being chucked around, but there was just a lot of talking all over each other, you know. The conference was dead, but I'm looking forward to Saturday. The conference sucks, says Charlie. Breaking news, the O'Neills are coming to London. Have fun, Patrick. Was it worth watching? I think we answered that. I think it was a missed opportunity to not put the BMF title on the line. I think that he turned around and said, didn't he, that the BMF title is for bad MFers, right? And he is doing what he did against Usman, and that is making out that his opponent is not a bad, he's not bad enough. He's not a bad mother, so he doesn't deserve a shot. But I'm sure he said, I seem to recall him saying the exact same thing when he faced Usman. So really, it should be that the UFC force that title to be up for grabs, if that makes sense. It should be that, he kind of, they say it's going to be for the BMF. To be honest, I think that was a one-off thing for a fight that needed it. I think Masvidal against Diaz probably did need a little tickle. You could maybe make an argument this one needs a little tickle, but this one has got such a grudge, personal kind of thing to it that maybe they're just like, that'll do for this. We don't need the belt. Like, that'll do for this. Undertaker's going to be inducted by McMahon. I thought the things that both Jorge and Colby were saying, there was some great stuff for the build. However, I do think nearly all the questions were basic and quite poor. John said, will you do more streams like this? To be honest, I find it... the decal question was weird. It was weird. That was weird. That's the kind of thing that you could like maybe ping over to Dana in an email, or I don't know. Just saying, like, the decal is like slip. I mean, I must admit, I have not noticed that or really heard people complaining about that. Like, you do get this from time to time. Eventually, the question about gloves will come up again, because the eye pokes and the way the gloves are designed, that's always something that comes up in conversation once in a while, once in a blue moon. So, I don't know, it was a bit of a weird one. Will we do more streams like this? To be honest, I find these streams very difficult to do because, like, I have to stop and listen and obviously then just relay what's being said. And it can be a little bit tricky to hear what gets said, talk, not miss anything out, get people's reactions to that whilst listening to this, trying to make sure that we're not just... I mean, like, I don't want to just sit here in silence. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to just sit here watching it for like half an hour and then go, right, okay, this is what happened. Like, so, like, trying to, like, juggle it can be a little bit difficult. And when they're just talking over each other and you can't quite even make out some of the things they're saying because they are just talking over each other, that can make it a bit tricky as well. So I think I'm always quite selective when it comes to the press conferences because I do like watch them and I do get a little something from them, but probably I'd only stream them if I felt there was like some real value to streaming them. Like, if you got a Conor one, you would do it. If you've got someone that's going to be a good talker, then it's worth doing. And these two are good talkers, but I must admit there wasn't really much in the way of zingers there, was there? Wasn't really much. Like, I was hoping someone was going to drop like a bombshell. I was really hoping that like Colby or Jorge had something from the past, or maybe even brought someone on stage that was connected to the past. Like maybe Colby had wronged someone. Like, this is all about the coach. So what if Masvidal had brought the coach on stage and actually got him to say, you didn't pay me? You didn't pay me. And actually got the coach on stage saying that? Like, that could have been very interesting because apparently they fell out because I think it was Jorge's striking coach worked with Colby, and Colby didn't pay him. Gave him a little bit of money, but didn't really like give him anything that he would, deserve. And that apparently is where like the falling out started, and then obviously snowballed. So like, imagine if he had brought that coach out on stage. That could have been amazing. Shola said, only for the talkers. We don't need it for every pay-per-view. Ronnie said, the stream was fine. I think you painted the picture fine. You did a good job. Made it look easy. I appreciate the kind words. It's just one that I don't enjoy. I mean, like, doing fights, we've done that so often, and we do it every week that, I mean, feel like I could do it with my eyes closed, which would be a challenge. But like, these ones are a bit trickier, and that's why I always tend to stay away from them. Jay said the trash talking was good, but nothing that crazy. Ronnie gives it a 6.75. A few events ago, most fighters complained about how slippery the mats were where the decals were. Okay, I didn't see that, to be honest. So maybe it has come out of that. They should have got Dan Lambert in it, says Alexander. I guess it's something to do on a Thursday, which isn't common, so that's pretty cool. That's true. It felt like one of them was going to bring out a big gun and surprise them. Izzy's a good talker, that is true. It proves how hard it is to beat Conor. That's true, but even Conor sucked recently. In Conor's press conferences with Dustin, I thought he was really poor. Conor, I think, was amazing when he was coming through, and like, who the F is that guy? And there's some absolute classics from Conor, but I thought his ones with Dustin were really poor. But yeah, it shows, doesn't it? It shows that it is an art form. It is a skill to have that kind of quick reaction, quick thinking, to be able to say stuff, deliver it well. But not only that, actually throw in a few zingers, and it is definitely a skill. And maybe one where this one just fell a little bit short, but it doesn't matter. It don't matter. I mean, like, it was, it still gave me some, I still like seeing them, like, talking to each other when, like, the questions were being asked, and clearly there's, a hatred that does exist. Or if it isn't, they're working it well. And, yeah, I'm hyped for the fight, man. I'm hyped for this weekend. I mean, look, it'll be whatever it'll be. It'll do whatever it'll do. It might not be the biggest pay-per-view ever. I think that's, quite commonly accepted. But this is a good fight, man. This is a good fight. And I think this could capture people's attention because this is the kind of thing people want to see. Two people that hate each other having a fight. I mean, that's great. That is great. Two people that hate each other having a fight. Like, that is, you don't need much. You don't need titles and stuff like that. This is two people that genuinely don't like each other. They've made it known that are having a fight, and someone's going to win. And You know, you don't even need to know anything about UFC. You don't need to know anything about MMA. You don't need to have watched UFC before. That's the kind of thing that will grab people's attention. But I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to be out there. I don't know if it's going to be big enough. I don't know if they can, like, you know, grab people's attention and how. I mean, like, how are you going to do it right now where, you know, one of the biggest things, I mean, I'm being told that there's a nuclear power plant that's on flipping fire right now. So, I mean, you know, the world's attention at the moment is kind of caught up in other things. So you might be able to grab the world's attention for 5 minutes, but it's going to be difficult to, you know, have the world's attention any longer than that because obviously all the stuff that's going on at the moment. So, right, we're done. Anyway, we are back this Saturday for UFC 272. Make sure that you hit that set reminder on the watch along and drop a like if you haven't already over there because obviously it is the big UFC pay-per-view for this month. There is no wrestling one this month, so this UFC show is going to have to work a bit harder for us because there is no wrestling pay-per-view, so this is a big one for the channel. So hopefully people can come and join us and have fun this Saturday. And I've got all my notes ready. It's already done. I always do my research on a Thursday. And I've got my notes in place already. So I've gone for Covington. The ones I underline is who I go for. So I've got Covington. I've got RDA. I've got Bryce Mitchell. So those are my top 3 picks. Covington, RDA, Bryce Mitchell. That's where I am for the card so far. But as I said, I don't ever put money down because whenever I have, it's never gone that well for me. But we'll see. But I'm feeling pretty good about Covington taking it, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see. Holloway Santa said, I bet Colby Masvidal hug and kiss after. I tell you, it'll be really interesting if they do. It'll be really, really interesting if they do because there's been a lot of questions asked and a lot said about will they do it. And they've adamantly said they won't, so... After saying what Jorge was saying was fake news, he, like a dummy, admitted to not pay him. Tim said, I've done my research all week. It's burning me out, but I can't wait for the show. Awesome. Alexander said, Revolution, that's on Sunday. So we've got UFC Saturday night and Revolution on Sunday. So, yeah, we're doing that as well. Right, awesome. All the best, guys. Appreciate you joining us for something a little bit different. As we said, we are back this weekend. And hopefully I'll see you then. Bye for now.